Welcome to Discovering. It's October and in the UP, that means hunting of all kinds. We'll start out with a colorful walk on a sunny morning in search of grouse.
It doesn't get any better than this. Out with your dog on a cool fall day in the wonderful outdoors of the UP.
Then we'll head for the lake and set our sights on waterfowl. That's all tonight, so kick back, put your feet up. It's Monday night and time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
It's the middle of grouse season. The sun is shining. The trees are approaching full color. There's a slight briskness to the morning air. The peacefulness and solitude of a walk down a quiet backwoods road away from everything else. I'm not sure if I go in the woods to hunt or if I hunt to go in the woods. Either way, it's pretty hard to beat. I spent the morning with UP hunter Brian Kessler and his new dog Lydia in search of grouse.
Lydia's a 1.5-year-old French Brittany. Got her at Peterson Kennels in Crandon, Wisconsin a year ago in June. And she's had 2 summers of training, to listening in Crystal Falls with trainer Bob Ross from Top Gun Kennels near Marquette, Ishpeming area. And she's still learning, but she's starting to get it. Got to work on her points a little bit, but hopefully we'll find some birds today and see how she performs. She's getting it already. Every once in a while I gotta give a toot on the whistle. She heads down the trail a little too far. But the French Brittany's are known to hunt close. Hunt them up. And so far she's done pretty well. That's about the distance she'll go right there. Good girl, good girl. Come on, babe. Come on, hunt them up. Help the birds. Good girl. Pretty calm day today. We could use a little bit of a breeze. That helps the scenting. The dog to pick up that scent cone. And it's pretty calm today, which makes it a little tougher to find those grouse. But we're gonna get to the end of this, turn around, head back again. Those birds will come out and say, what the heck was that just went by? And we'll hopefully pick up a few on the way back. Let's hope the breeze picks up a little bit. I'm hoping. There's the bird. Where's the bird? We just scented a bird here. She locked. Never doubt your dog's nose. She proved that to us just now. That bird flew, of course. Old Deadeye here missed, but we got one in the air so far. And we're getting into the really hot spot here now. It should be a few more flushes, hopefully, before the end of the day. She's a year and a half old, French Brittany. The only difference between the French Brittany and American Brittany is primarily color and a little bit difference in size. The French Brittany is a little smaller, shorter legs, shorter snout, and very compact. She's about 30, 31 pounds at full growth. And she is offspring of a mother that was black and white. Her father was orange and black from the Peterson Kennel in Crandon, Wisconsin. The hunting ability of both American French Brittany, almost identical. What I was told, this is my first French Brittany, when I bought her, was the French Brittany hunts a little bit closer than the American Brit, and I have found that. First two Brits I had were American Brits, and she has shown that she hunts a little bit closer than the other two Brits that I had. But she has lots to learn yet. She's coming along slow but sure, but this is the way they learn. In the woods. In the woods. There goes one. One just flew right here. Maybe another one in here. Put the dog in, see if we can pull one up here. She's on the point though. There she goes. Now she's moving. This bird flew right up in here. Let's see if we can get that bugger. There it goes. Oh, too far out. Nothing better than getting a young dog into birds. Training them in the field is fine, but the wild birds are really teach them their lessons. She is wound up right now after flushing, I don't know, 4 or 5. And that's the key to getting your dog to be a good hunting dog. Get them into live birds. And here we go again. She's hopefully going to flush another one here. There, we got one. I think we got one on the ground here. I think we got one on the ground here. Now the fetch. Find it? Come on, babe, bring it here. Okay, good girl. There, we got a bird. Good girl. She has a terrific nose finding the birds once they're on the ground. Last year we struggled with that as a 6-month-old pup. Now if I get one on the ground, she finds it. Retrieving yet is something we need to work on. She's finding the birds, but not picking them up and bringing them to me. It doesn't take much to go and find that bird because she sits right by it, but be nice to get her to retrieve, but that'll come. She's young yet. Trainer tells me that'll be something that'll eventually be learned, and found that bird beautifully. Didn't go that far off the trail here, but, and there were 2 here. Of course, I missed the other one. So we're 1 for 3, 1 for 4, something like that. We've got to improve these odds a little bit. Let's go find some more. I'll tell when she finds a grouse. She'll slam the brakes on real quick. This has been about my 30th year hunting with a dog. And what I have found is you need to get your dog in live birds. Once you've done that, you're going to have a fairly decent dog. If you want a great dog, you continue the training. If you want a terrific dog, you continue training. I want a good dog, one that can hold a point, flush that bird, find that bird. I don't even care if it fetches it, as long as it finds it. But that's the way to enhance your hunting experience with a dog. Get that training, another single, get the live birds, and do it over and over and over again. And you'll have a superb dog and an enjoyment just like we're having today. That's been my experience, and it has paid off with the enjoyment you have watching that dog work. One of the things I learned in our training this past 2 summers is you get a new dog and train him in a field. the transition from the field into the wild woods areas, a lot of times it's strange to them, and they tend not to go too far. In fact, the first time it happened to me, the dog was right here. The whole trail we just walked, she was right here. It was unfamiliar to her, and once we got to the end, turned around, and she started to move a little bit forward. But that comes again with time. And again, we've got a young dog here. She's learning the ropes and coming along just fine. I think she's gonna be a good one. Let them do their thing.
She doesn't stop.
As they're puppies, let them run. Let them do their thing in the woods. Let them learn from their mistakes. I don't talk to my dog. I give her a toot on the whistle once in a while when she gets out a little too far.
What now?
That's all it's needed. A little praise when she does something good. Never scold when she does something bad. But praise, praise, praise will give you a good dog over time. It doesn't get any better than this. Out with your dog on a cool fall day, you can't beat it. This is my third Brit. They're a good pointing breed, and finding birds and just being in the woods on a day like this, sunshine, 55 degrees, a little frost in the morning. It gets no better than that. And this is my serenity here in the wonderful outdoors of the UP. Makes for one heck of a great day. Come on, babe, hunt 'em up. Find a bird, come on.
It's hard to beat a fall day in the woods on the hunt with shotgun in hand. For some, that means hiding along the shore of a lake, decoys employed in hopes of fooling a duck into shooting distance.
So last night we went over to the Green Bay shores between Cedar River and Escanaba, and the waves were coming in, pounding, big white caps, 20-mile-an-hour winds. There was no way to set up over there today. So we had to improvise and come over here. So we're here at Shaky Lakes in Menominee County, and we're gonna do a little duck hunting. Came in last night and set up a blind, just kind of makeshift, cut off some brush and stuck some brush around, and now we're gonna go out there and put some decoys out and see if we can get some ducks and maybe a couple geese. I don't want to put any of the bluebill drakes out, just hens. Okay. So then we'll take some mallards and we'll scatter them along the shoreline, kind of not close, but along the shoreline, maybe 2 at a time or 3 at a time, but separate. I don't like to put mallards all together. I like to, if you go along the shore or you watch the ducks through the year, they're not in big groups. They're kind of in spots along the way. So we'll go try to set some up like that. Typically, we like to be set up and ready to go at least 15 minutes before the opening starts for the day. And we usually will sit till 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and go back to camp, do some things at camp or go home. Sometimes we come back in the afternoon for the evening hunt. There's a lot of different ways. I mean, guys can go jump hunting, you know, where ducks might be sitting. But always remember, you got to have a way to be able to get that duck that once you kill it, you got to be able to retrieve it. So I always look at that when I'm doing any jump hunting. Those are golden eyes. I try to hunt on a point or somewhere where you get out into the water a little further. The ducks, if they're flying the shorelines, if you're on a point that sticks out, it makes it almost like their flight pattern changes a little bit, so you get a little better chance to get some shooting. I just set up real quick. We put blinds out. I make something just simple. I use a clothesline, and I take burlap, camo burlap, and I just use the burlap over the top with clothespins, just like you're hanging laundry, and it makes a heck of a blind. I put some brush over the top of that, branches or whatever, and you're concealed well, and you can hide on the mallards and get some good shooting. It works out pretty good. Well, this blind we're hunting in today was a makeshift thing. I made it. Actually, I worked on it till 11 o'clock last night with a headlamp on. And I didn't have a hatchet, didn't have nothing. I just used a knife, cutting all this brush. And it's actually worked out really nice. The guys really liked it when they got here. It's kind of neat. It was fun doing it too. I probably worked on it for 2 hours. So these guys that we're hunting with here today, Josh and Dane, they're friends of my stepson and my middle son Trevor, and they were at the house all the time, and they always talked about going duck hunting with me. So this is the day. This is the first time we're doing it, and I mean, heck, it's been 15 years probably since they were always over at the house every day, jumping on the trampoline and just being kids and playing, hanging around the house. So it's kind of neat to be out here with them and enjoying some association like this.
Done.
You can't forget that kid of mine, Cameron. Wow. He always puts a little bit of dash into everything. He's a professional. So back in the day when I first started duck hunting with my dad, we used to go out and get our ducks and bring them home and have to dip them in wax after we plucked the feathers off them. And it was terrible. We used to have to eat the gizzards and the livers and everything. So I just quit duck hunting and I started bow hunting when I was 16 years old for the whitetail. But no, I started back again. I go to Canada, duck hunting and walleye fishing up at Lake of the Woods in Ontario. And we started duck hunting up there, and it's so much fun. I had to get back into it. And the natives up there, they do duck a whole lot different than we do it here, or the way my dad taught us how anyway. So that's some good eating. It's like a delicacy. So we enjoy that a lot. If you're thinking about getting into duck hunting, boy, you don't need a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't even have a dog. Cameron and I go out in our waders and go after these ducks and pick them up just with our waders. You don't need many decoys. You can put out anywhere from 5, 6, 7 to dozens if you want, but you know, to get started in it, it doesn't really take a lot. You don't need many decoys, and you scatter them kind of along the shore. I mean, just look at how ducks are. They're in patterns of 2 or 3, or you know, when you're looking at mallards anyway. I mean, different types of decoys, we line up different. When I put out bluebill decoys, I put them in a straight line. When I put out mallard decoys, I put them in groups of 2 or 3 scattered about. And sometimes I'll throw some geese decoys in there as well. But again, you don't need many. When we go hunting, I like to have, you know, the 12 gauges with 3.5-inch shells. I like to shoot number 4s for ducks, but there's guys that like to use number 2s or BB. But ducks are tough. They're tough to kill, so you got to have some power behind you if you can. I wouldn't recommend anybody going out with a 410, although I did when I was 12 years old. I don't think it's the greatest idea to do that, but it's good for kids, and it's good to take kids out. A 20 gauge can work, but again, you got to have steel shot, and it's hard to find steel. So that's one thing you got to remember when you're duck hunting, is you always have to have steel shot. Cameron and I were listening to some ducks just yesterday. We were visiting my parents in Menominee, and they live on the Menominee River. And Cameron kept saying, "Wow, are them ducks loud? Listen to how loud they are." And, you know, calling them, you just listen to what they sound like out there and kind of emulate what you hear. And I've got 4 or 5 different calls, and I practice with them when I'm sitting out there. I just play with it. I don't do it throughout the year, but when I'm hunting, I just play with it and kind of get a feel for what it sounds like, and to try to emulate the ducks. So typically what we get around the UP when we're duck hunting along the shores of the Green Bay and stuff, we get plenty of mallards. We get some bluebills and widgeons. We get some widgeons once in a while. Boy, I've seen some flocks coming through that went for hours and hours, just black with them, almost like smelt in the creek used to be years ago. seeing some of them flight ducks come through, and we just sit on the shore. We don't go out and lay out boats or nothing like that. We go out with our waders and put out the decoys and just stick along the shore. Today we didn't see many ducks. It seems like the ducks have really been fading out over the last couple decades. I mean, they're still around. You see lots of them, but they just, for some reason, seem to be fading out. It sounds like the people, when I go up to Lake of the Woods, Ontario, they say that the flight patterns have changed because of all the work that the Ducks Unlimited groups have done and stuff with marshes in the west and in the Dakotas. So I don't know what the reason is, but there's not like they used to be. Years ago, man, the ducks, it was crazy. We'd sit on this point over here in Shaky Lakes and flock after flock after flock. I'm talking 40 years ago, and it was so much fun.
Looks good.
Ducks! Ducks! I can remember lots of stories. I'm sitting here with my dad, and I got my first red squirrel here at Shaky Lakes with my BB gun while I was sitting with my dad. I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and I kept that pelt from that squirrel for probably 35 years. But no, you know, being out there with my dad and my brother back then, and the same today out here with my son Cameron, and with these guys, it's a lot of fun. Look at the colors in his beak. Yep, I'll have to mount him. I thought it was a wood duck when he went off. The best part about duck hunting is just being with the people you're with. I mean, you can sit there and talk a little bit.
You standing up or no?
It's not like deer hunting where you try not to move or try not to say anything. Well, of course, duck hunting you want to sit still as well, but you can associate with the people that are there and have fun. You can see the ducks coming from a distance, so you know when the time is to quiet down or settle down and get up and start shooting when the time comes. It's good to get out and enjoy the great outdoors here in the UP.
Well, that's it for tonight. If you'd like to keep tabs on what's coming up on Discovering or see where we've been, you can join us on Facebook or go to 906outdoors.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week right here on Discovering.